And I also want to talk to you about your projects because I saw on
Yeah.
IMDb that you have Point Defiance, Revenge for Daddy, and then I saw that you're in production for Hunt for Me. So talk to us about,
Yes.
what's going on over there.
Okay. Yeah. Let me dish. uh, so okay. Okay. First one was what?
Point
I'll go
Defiance,
in order.
I
Point
think.
Defiance. Okay. Point Defiance is this really small, very, very limited budget indie that I did in my home state in Washington, with some filmmakers and some people that I had worked with previously on a film called Doubting Thomas. And I think, obviously, like, I had to audition for Doubting Thomas, and it's a really compelling story about race in our country, and not outward aggressions like what unfortunately happened this past week with George Floyd. That's just blatant. That's like completely unacceptable. And I think we all accept that, regardless of what our political standings are, we all accept that that sort of thing is not acceptable. But this movie touches on a level that is a little bit, is definitely more nuanced than that. And it kind of examines how some people, I'll say white people, come to realize that maybe they had some microaggressions or some thought patterns that they didn't recognize were detrimental, over time, little by little, chipping away at sort of the overall mentality about race. What's really cool about it is that, we're a lot of white people, a couple of minorities in the film, but being really friggin' honest about coming to terms with those sorts of very minor things that unfortunately are able to add up to something. And I think that's a really unique way of looking at the issue as a whole of racism in America. Because it's not just a police officer kneeling on someone's neck and that person dying in that moment. It's also, would I want to date? How comfortable would I feel with dating somebody if they had dated a Black person before me? Can I be really honest with myself? Would that be weird? And that's what one of the characters, for example, goes through and has to examine, and everybody has their own battles. So Doubting Thomas was an awesome film to make, and the filmmakers trusted me with a really precious role, which I was so grateful. But then they asked me, they were like, hey, we're going to film something in Washington, your home state. Would you come around for a couple days and play a detective? And so I did. And, it was a more minor role, but so, so fun to just come hang out. My sister and her kids came to set. And that was always, that's always a reason why you want to be in movies, is like, it's not just about the script. It's not just about the money. Sometimes it's about the whole experience of being there and being in that location or with the people that you're working with. So those are the three tenets. And for me on that one, it was the people that I was working with and the location that we were in. And I just knew that I would enjoy myself. And so, yeah, but it's got a lot of themes that are similar to what we're going through right now, because the main character is on lockdown in his home.
Oh my God.
So you will, yeah, you might find a lot in common with it. So it's now out on all of the platforms for streaming. So you should be able to find it, and it's called Point Defiance. It's a thriller.
Voodoo, iTunes, so people can find it. Like, they Google it.
Yeah. They gave like a whole list, and it had all the main ones, like I think Voodoo and Amazon and all of that. But then it was there. The list was even like 30 more names long with platforms I've never heard of. So it's everywhere.
I can't wait to watch it.
I know, what a fitting time, just all these projects that you're doing, and gosh, what a fitting time, especially with just how I think everybody's feeling very vulnerable this week, regardless of your race. I think it's again just bringing more light to everything going on. So I just want to say, what a fitting time for that project to even be here, surface. I think
And that one's called Doubting Thomas. The one that's about race is about Doubting Tom. Is called Doubting Thomas, and it just was released within the time of quarantine as well. So definitely check that one out.
Yeah.
And you might see some familiar faces if you watch Doubting Thomas and Point Defiance. There's some overlap for sure. Yeah, which is great. It's great to find your film family, which I did in this case.
Yeah.
And then let's see, the other one that I really, so Revenge for Daddy is a Lifetime film made for Lifetime. I go up to Canada a couple times a year, generally, and I film some of those movies up there. So that was one of those, and I love it because Canadians are the best. That's one where it's just so fun to be there, and we always have a really nice time. So that one's out, and then I think I have a new one coming on. It's going to be airing on Lifetime on May 31st, and it's called, they always change the title. It's always a working title, and then they change it. So I'm like, what was it? It was My Husband's Deadly Past.
Okay.
So yeah, and there's you guys can follow me. I have a page on Facebook and I do Instagram. I've connected the two, so it's a lot of the same content. So whatever's your favorite, go ahead and follow me there. And I just posted a link with a trailer to that one, so you can check that out. And then tune in on May 31st on Lifetime Network and see me solving mysteries.
The best, I swear, the best.
Yeah. And then Hunt for Me is super exciting, guys, but it's being pushed because that was filming in Bali. So,
oh my God,
we're at the mercy of this pandemic for that, guys.
Jealous. Bali. I want to go to Bali.
I know. That was obviously I don't have to tell you why I wanted to do that one, but that one for me ticked all the boxes because it's a role that is epic. Like my best known role is this revenge thriller called I Spit on Your Grave. Everyone knows me the best from that role. And this is the first time I've been offered a movie where I really feel like that those fans are gonna get really excited about it because the character has to be a badass and defend herself against some really powerful villains. And she has to avenge some people in her life. And it all takes place on this tropical island in Indonesia. And most of it is supposed to be filmed on Bali, but some on Java. Basically, we're creating our own private island using different locations around Indonesia. And it's an action film. So there's like all these cool stunts and choreography. And they're casting a lot of international people, so they want Europeans and North Americans and wherever they get. There's quite a few Indonesian locals that will be cast, and so I'm like, this is like everything in a role for me. So I'm very excited. I spoke with the director about a month ago, and he was like, we'll see how it goes, but Australians aren't allowed to travel outside of Australia until 2021.
What?
So yeah. I mean, that's what he said. It's either that or it's like no one's allowed to come into Australia, so maybe they just feel like they shouldn't also leave. I don't know.
Until 2021 or until after 2021?
So basically the rest of this year is what he said, that they're not letting anyone into Australia. And I think that by extension, Australians are like, well, I better not leave because what if they don't let me back in,
Yeah, that's what we have to be worried about.
So I mean, it's getting pushed for quite a bit, and I guess we'll have to assess, like, after everything happens, how is the situation in Bali. But I really hope we get to go back there because I love it. I've been there twice, and it's amazing.
So wait, did you start filming at all yet, or you were going to film?
No, okay. I didn't start. We were supposed to be filming basically starting next month in June was going to be our start date.
Darn it.
And are calmer, then you can like have that consistent shoot and you'll be in like a good place because you're not like worried that like, oh, I have to wear a mask or like I can only stand 5 feet away from this person or 6 feet.
I can't imagine shooting in COVID. There's just so much, everything's happening so fast. There's no time for sanitization and all of that. So you have to, I think like you really have to plan on like once everyone is comfortable again, then filming can start again. Otherwise, I don't think it's something we can jump into, because it's almost like a theme park. You know what I mean? People are packed in, people are touching, there's no time to like be considerate about those sorts of things on a film set.
Oh yeah.
You work so closely with actors. And before Christina asks her next question, I just want to say I loved Counterfeiting in Suburbia. I freaking love that movie.
Oh, thanks. I know that was with the Canadian film crew that I work with a lot. Like, they tend to call me, you know, about once a year, and I go up to Vancouver and I film up there, and it's always the same folks, the same, you know, writers, directors, producers, and a lot of the same actors that recur, and it's just the most fun time. So I'm glad you liked it.
Awesome
to have that. Like,
they did. They got some awards, or they got nominated for some awards in Vancouver. They have the Leo Awards for local filmmakers, and it's quite a big deal. It's a glamorous event, and that film got nominated for quite a few things. So
I'm not surprised. It was so good.